I had previously discussed how language shapes our mind and then it shapes our behavior and outlook. And I had mentioned that the latest generation that has come is not using words appropriately. And I'm giving you some examples which will make this very clear. When you say, I don't have time to do such and such, what you're describing in reality is that task for which you say you don't have time simply is not a priority. There are other tasks that take priority in terms of what you actually have time for, and there are tasks that are lower in the priority scale. So you'll have a lot of people who might say this verbally that they want to lose weight, they want a healthier lifestyle, but if you watch their actions, they have time to doom scroll and they have time to eat junk food. Now, this is not a moral judgment to say that this is right or wrong. What I'm trying to bring light to is accuracy. So, the person who has time to doom scroll and has time to consume junk food is saying that they don't have time to exercise or they don't have time to prioritize their fitness. What they should be admitting to is that this is not a priority. Just because you have a desire for something does not automatically make it a priority. And the reason we don't use language like I just mentioned, for example, we don't hear anyone saying, I am not interested in allocating time to my health. Now you'll hear absolutely no one saying, I am not interested in allocating time to my health. But if health is a priority, then time is allocated to that. I'm not saying that people don't have other pressing concerns in their life. If a loved one of yours is on life support, attending to hospital duties will be the top priority. So, this is not about should or shouldn't, this is not about good or bad. It's about using language that reflects the reality of your choices. So, when you say, I don't have time to go to the gym, you should switch that language up with, I am not making the gym my priority right now. Now, you don't have to justify why you're not making the gym your priority, but using language such as, I am not making training at the gym my priority helps you be more honest with yourself. And when you're more honest with yourself, you're more in alignment with who you are. Friction or tension or stress comes from going in the opposite direction of the thought you're holding. So if your thought is to become healthier but you're not eating well and you're not training, then you're living with a certain stress or friction of not being honest to yourself. So it's better to say that you're not making time or you're not prioritizing something rather than saying you don't have time. So this is one way in which language hides our intentions and it obfuscates our intentions. The second thing that I've noticed people saying a lot is, I cannot stop doom scrolling. If we were to honestly use the word cannot, it has to describe an impossibility. If there were 1,000 kilos on the ground, if there was a barbell loaded with 1,000 kilos of weight, and you said, I literally cannot lift this weight, the word cannot is applicable. So, if you're saying that you cannot stop doom scrolling, what that would actually mean is your thumbs automatically find the application, they automatically open it, and they automatically stay on that for hours. Now, opening an application by yourself without any conscious thought may be force of habit. But we're talking about staying on the application for hours and hours. So the language needs to change there. It needs to change from I cannot stop doom scrolling to I choose to waste my time by doom scrolling. Again, this is not a judgment of good or bad. I have not said anything about doom scrolling being good or bad, but this is throwing light on how not using the right language is becoming a barrier with respect to the goals you're setting for yourself. So, if your goal was to stop doom scrolling, and you say, I cannot stop doom scrolling, the reason you cannot stop doom scrolling is you're not using honest language. Your language needs to reflect the accuracy of the situation. So instead of saying, I cannot stop doom scrolling, you need to say, my priority is doom scrolling. You may be feeling very ashamed of the fact that you can't stop doom scrolling, but actions reveal priorities. So if you really want to stop doom scrolling but you aren't doom scrolling, then you have to admit that it's a choice. And when you do that, the battle in your head between your choices and your desires will subside. And this is the first step in using coherent language in order to make sense of the world and of yourself.